Evening. All right. Great to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on MIH's 5-year anniversary. My name is Alan Sheehan, and I have had the honor to serve as the MIH board president for the past 5 years, and I get to welcome you this evening. But before we get started, I wanted to take a moment and recognize the people who helped make this event possible. Hopefully everybody's gotten a chance to get something to eat, something to drink, and this is all done by the MIH staff. So we give them a quick round of applause. So why are we here today? To drink some beer, right? Now we're here to celebrate not only the growth and impact MIH has had on housing support services, but also to look to the future and explore new opportunities for furthering the mission of MIH. I want to encourage you, as you're partying it up tonight, talk to MIH staff, talk to board members, talk to state officials, share your ideas, ask questions, so we can plan the future together. If there's one thing Tim loves, it's generative discussions. We started MIH bringing housing support services to life. MIH's mission is to help people with intellectual and developmental disabilities successfully access and maintain inclusive, affordable, and accessible housing of their choice. That's a key point. To have their own homes, enhancing their independence and quality of life. All right. And if you haven't already, check out MIH's website for their success stories and videos. They're absolutely amazing and truly inspiring. MIH has also established 6 county housing committees that actively work towards progressing affordable housing opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in that county. MIH also partnered with DDA and created the AT Navigator, which provides Marylanders an easy way to identify assistive technology solutions which ultimately help people live more independently. Last but not least, MIH established a universal training curriculum and certification process for providing housing support services. They've trained 113 service professionals from nearly 40 agencies statewide, exponentially growing housing support services in Maryland. And none of this would have been possible without Tim Ween's vision and leadership. Tim is a quiet dude, right? He's thoughtful, intentional, very strategic, and deeply committed to MIH's mission. His work with state and county officials has been instrumental in advancing housing support services across the state. He carefully assembled a strong board aligned with MIH's mission and built a talented team, not only to expand MIH's direct impact, but to support other organizations and expand their impact. His decades of experience include 40 years leading Jubilee, and he's helped shape MIH into a statewide force for inclusive housing. On behalf of the board, it's my honor to introduce MIH's Executive Director, a visionary leader whose commitment and drive continue to move Maryland forward. Please join me in welcoming Tim Weems.
Well, thank you, Alan, for those kind words. And thank you all for coming out this evening and helping us celebrate our 5-year anniversary. One of the things I love about the job is working with the board of directors. It is a talented and passionate, well-connected board, and brings life to me to do that. The other thing that I love about my job is the team of professionals that we've been able to bring together at MIH. And so I want to introduce you to the members of the team, and as I call your name, if each of you could stand, and then after I've called everyone's name, hold your applause until the end. So Terry Bradford is our operations manager. Hold your applause. Where's Terry? There she is. So you cannot find a more efficient organization and a more efficient employee than Terry. So we have 9 employees. You know, we have a budget of just over $800,000. Terry's half-time. She is HR, she is accounting, she is IT, and she is administrative support to me and to the board. So she does a great job with that. Lauren Silverstone, where are you, Lauren? Over there. Lauren, both Terry and Lauren have been with us for 4 years. Lauren started as a community living coordinator doing housing support services as the program was launching, and then as we grow, she became the director of housing support services. And you've heard Alan talk about the numbers. It's really been, and I think Diane Dressler said this, it's really building a workforce that we have accomplished. And Diane, you're going to hear more about Diane later, but she was a full partner in kind of making that happen. But Lauren is the leader. She speaks to groups all over the state. And leads the network of people providing housing support services.
My name is Autumn Harmon. I'm the COO at Elevate Spectrum here in Baltimore County. We, of course, service all areas, but primarily Baltimore County. Very quickly, on behalf of Elevate Spectrum, I just want to say that it is an honor to join everyone here in celebrating MIH's accomplishments. I also just wanted to say that at Elevate Spectrum, we really do look at housing as the way for people to have opportunities and to really gain that independence. And so working with MIH, who also captures and cultivates those same values, just makes our jobs that much easier. So being able to sponsor this event and being able to help make this time of celebration possible was just such a joy for us. So we just want to say thank you as well for everything you all do and just being able to be partners and seeing everyone's faces. So let's enjoy the evening and thank you.
The lead sponsor. So I'm going to quickly read through all of our other sponsors. We had a goal of raising $10,000 in sponsors to cover this event, which is about $5,000. A little bit for our operating budget, but we've exceeded $15,000. So I'm delighted with that. It's our first foray into fundraising, and things are tight everywhere, right? You got to do what you got to do. So I want to read the sponsors. I'm starting with the gold sponsor. So Atlantic Union Bank, which used to be Sandy Spring Bank, Community Options, and Tigas is here. NFP, which is our insurance broker, Jubilee Association, Nick Burton, and Thomas Vance, all are gold sponsors. So thank you, gold sponsors. Silver sponsors are the ARC Maryland, Athleus Institute, Clifton Larson Allen, Compass, Free of Maryland, MyPad, Richcroft, Marge and Arthur Gold, Clarissa Mitchell, Tim Weems, and Mary Jo Schumacher. Our bronze sponsors are Abilities Network, the ARC Baltimore, Helix Floors, Kindred Spirits, Kindred Strategies, the Maryland DD Council, John Bogowski, Rick Callahan, the Patamira family, Valerie Roddy, Joyce Sims, and also Friends of MIH, Sharonda Huffman, Cora Scalaro, and Daphne Stephan. So thank you all, sponsors. So I'm going to invite Valerie Roddy and Kathy Klausmeyer to come up at this time. Valerie is a member of our board of directors. And so she's going to be doing some of the introductions, and then Nick Burton will also do an introduction, as well as Pat Sylvester. Entrance is hidden.
Thank you. All right, good evening. So many of you know me from my DDA days. Of course, I did retire in 2021, and I was having a really good time. And then Tim called me and asked me if I wanted to do a little something, and asked me if I wanted to participate on the board, and I was really touched. So it was very easy to say yes. And it was nice, and I really enjoyed my 14 months on the board, and I hope I've been at least somewhat helpful, I don't know. But then I got a little bit busier earlier this year. And so with that, I will introduce my new boss. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Baltimore County Executive, Kathy Klausmeyer. Thank you, Val. I just want to thank Tim and Bernie. You're over there? Okay. Thank you. And this is quite a 5th year anniversary. And unfortunately, I left my speech back in the office. But Val, being a good employee she is, she has it here. But I just want to make sure I say Tim's and all the Maryland inclusive housing members, Deputy Secretary Marlena Hutchinson. Where are you? Okay, all right. Wrong glasses. And Bernie Simmons. But it's Simon's. What happened, my original speech had 2 M's, and I kept saying Simon's, and Val's going, no, it's Simmons. So we've had this thing going on all day. Does everybody know Bernie? Yeah. And first of all, I just have a couple other people I would like to recognize. 17 years that's her anniversary today, for Rachel Loudon, from the director of DD Council, but 17 years, where is she? And many of you, I may have worked in Annapolis because I was there for 30 years, so if you didn't come to see me, I guess you didn't come to see me. And Wayne Reed from the Department of Disability. And back there in the corner is Aaron Palmer, and he's working for Councilman Wade Catch. And he's brand new, so let's give him a really good, let's give him a stand. But this is the 5th anniversary, and let's everybody just give it up for the 5th anniversary. Come on. And I'm very happy to be here. Disabilities has a place in my heart. I have a disabilities great nephew, and we went. Does anybody ever go to Surfers Healing? That's something, if anybody has anything to do with disabled children, please look that up. They get to go to Ocean City once a year and ride a surfboard 3 times, and it's just amazing. So it's just something for you to put in the back of your head if you ever hear of Surfers Healing. So anyway, I do have a resolution here, and it's in recognition of the 5th anniversary of the Maryland Inclusive Housing. Since January of 2020, Maryland Inclusive Housing has worked diligently to assist and advocate for those most in need of housing assistance. During that time, MIH has assisted dozens of individuals and proved to be a vital partner in Baltimore County. And by the way, thanks for picking Baltimore County to have this affair this evening. On behalf of the residents of Baltimore County, I thank you for your continued efforts and collaboration in our community and wish you all the best in the years to come. So this is given under my hand, the Great Seal of Baltimore County, and it's by Catherine A. Klausmeyer, County Executive. And thank you all for all that you do, because it's not easy all the time. Maybe once in a while, but I know how the state government works, I know how the county government works, and it's not always easy for that. But working with children with disabilities and adults with disabilities, thank you very, very, very much. So, thank you. Here, Tim.
So at this time, I'd like to ask Wayne Reed from the Department of Disability, there he is. He was hiding, to come up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Wayne Reed. I'm the Director of Housing Policy and Programs at the Maryland Department of Disabilities. I want to thank you for the generous welcome and conversation that I've had this evening. I want to say, Tim, I'm just so grateful for your partnership. Everyone that I've interacted on your team has been much like you, very thoughtful, high standards, and a pleasure for me to work for. So on behalf of Carol Beatty, our secretary at MDOD, I want to share this Governor Westmore signed proclamation, really acknowledging Tim and your board of directors' work and this anniversary. You should be very proud of what you've accomplished in 5 years. And it's a tremendous partnership, and we look forward to the time to come. I just want to acknowledge all of my former colleagues at DDA and Medicaid. So it's like a sort of home reunion. So it's good to see everyone. So Tim, let me present this to you. Be it known that on behalf of the citizens of this state, in recognition of Maryland Inclusive Housing Corporation's 5th anniversary and your work to help people with intellectual and developmental disabilities successfully access and maintain inclusive, affordable, and accessible housing of their choice by creating opportunities, identifying resources, connecting people, and providing services. We are pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation.
So now I really have the pleasure of introducing the current DDA Deputy Secretary, and it really is a pleasure for me, especially since I had the pleasure of working with her when I was at DDA and when she was at Medicaid. DDA Deputy Secretary Marlena Hutchinson.
Everyone. It's a real joy to be here with everyone tonight to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Maryland Inclusive Housing. Congratulations. When MIH launched in January 2020, in partnership with DDA and by way of grant from DDA, it carried a bold vision to make Maryland a place where people with intellectual and developmental disabilities can access and maintain inclusive, affordable housing. 5 years later, that vision has taken root, and the results speak for themselves. Nearly 50 Marylanders with IDD now have not only a home, but a stronger sense of independence and belonging. That is life-changing. This success hasn't come by chance. It's been the product of extraordinary partnerships across the state, providers, advocates, families, and communities working side by side to open doors and expand opportunity. Together, you've shown what's possible when commitment and collaboration come together. Tonight is a chance to pause and celebrate that collective effort. It's also a moment to look ahead, because the need for inclusive, affordable housing is great, and it will continue to be great. And MIH's work is more important than ever. So thank you, Tim, for your leadership. Thank you, Bernie, for being a visionary leader for DDA and having the big heart you have for the Marylanders with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And thank you, everyone in this room, for being DDA's partners. Thank you, everyone, for reminding us of what we can accomplish when we work together for a future for Marylanders with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The goal is always about the person first, to make certain that they can live the lives they want to live in the communities in which they choose. So Stephanie had put together a whole bunch of your great accomplishments, Tim, and Alan took them all. But one thing Alan didn't get to mention, and I had the honor of mentioning, is how invaluable your partnership has been with the developmental disabilities administration over the last 5 years. How you continue to align with DDA's vision that was started with Bernie, and how you help empower individuals so that they can live meaningful lives in the community. So thank you again, Tim and the MIH team. Thank you everyone for your partnership. Congratulations on your 5 years, and we're wishing you many, many more to come.
We're going to hear a couple stories now of people who have benefited from these moves and these efforts. And so I'd like to invite Brian Sylvia and his family to come up with Sarah.
Gentleman that is living in Howard County. And he's moved from the group home model into what's called a moderate income housing unit, which is a model of housing that only exists in Howard County. And it's allowed him to become more of an active member in his community. He was already involved in various organizations around Maryland in the Special Olympics, and now he's involved at the Vine, at his new community where he's currently living. And he also has been Employee of the Month at Harris Teeter in Maple Lawn the last 3 years in a row. But more importantly, he's been able to be independent and live in his department from what I understand, and if there's anything that his mom Kelly would like to say, or Duke or Brian, if you wanted to say something about your experience with MIH or Independence. Doesn't have to be long.
I'm Brian Sylvia. I'm thankful where I live from Sarah helping me out. Best communication. She's done a whole lot to help me get where I'm from. I was living in the group home before I moved out on my own. Became independent.
You engage in lots of different activities.
I engage in a lot of independence in the community.
And Brian is an incredible athlete also. He has tons of medals from
I play basketball, softball, and golf.
Hi, my name is Duke Sylvia, Brian's father, and it's been a long journey to get to where it is today. It's something that we've worked at for quite a while, and this housing group has been very instrumental in putting the final piece together. Without that, he wouldn't be where he is today. He's in a place that's close to his work, close to everything else that supports him in his community. This particular building was our first choice and would not have happened without Sarah's pushing the door open and keeping it open for us to finally get in there over a long period of time. So he has a big support group of people that he's met through his community and the people in the building that he's been able to create a complete added circle of socialization with the people in his community where he works and where he lives. So that's MIH has been the final piece to the puzzle to put him in a perfect situation.
My name is Kelly Sylvia. I'm Brian's mom. I just want to thank MIH for everything that you've done for my son. Sarah has been just amazing with everything that she has done for me. And we do appreciate it. And she's not going anywhere. She'll be here for a long, long time. So, thank you again. I appreciate it.
I'd like to invite the Brewery family to come up. And Tira.
Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to introduce Kavita and her family. Kavita is a determined self-advocate who expressed her readiness to transition from her group home to her own apartment in Rockville. With the support of her parents and her team, we were able to collaborate closely with the My Path program at Macomb to help Kavita find a home of her choosing, where she can thrive and fully enjoy her community.
I'm Kavita, Pachapiraman's mother. Unfortunately, Kavita couldn't be here today, So I just want to say a few words about who she is and her interests, and then go from there. Kavita is 34 years old, and she was diagnosed with right hemiparesis and autism spectrum disorder. She really thrives in a structured environment. So she has been attending day programs since the age of 21 after graduating from high school. And she continues to attend the day program where she's thriving as well as growing. So initially, we moved her into a group home because of her naturally friendly personality. We thought she would benefit from social interactions. She stayed there for 5 years, but eventually we thought that was not the ideal setting for her because she started advocating for herself, and she said she wants to move out and find a place of her own. And so we thought it would be best for us to start looking for more affordable housing and programs for Kavita, which is when I reached out to Lauren Silverstone at MIH, and then was the community living coordinator at the time, and then Tiara Medley, who later joined and is now current community living coordinator. And together we met several times at virtual meetings, and they were really pleasant to work with, very responsive and incredibly supportive of Kavita's housing journey. And they connected us with Lisa Adams, who's the director of the MyPad program, and equally she's very pleasant to work with, and together as a team we were able to find an apartment which was a good fit for Kavita. And it's a one-bedroom condo in Rockville area, and she is very happy there, and she's thriving. And she's really proud of having a space of her own, she can call it home. And we have noticeably seen her happier. And so thanks to Tiara, Lauren, and the MIH and Lisa Adams for MyPad program for helping us find a perfect place for Kavita. And thank you all for the unwavering support and invaluable guidance throughout this housing journey.
We need a podium this time. One of the things as a parent, the fear of dealing with the special needs people, a person, is very difficult. I think every step is a very difficult step. And we come to a stage where she's a woman, so we don't want to put her in a group home. But I tried different things, nothing worked for me. So we put her in a group home thinking that there's a place to go and all these things. But for 5 years, I think group home is not a good place for some people who are actually active. Like Kavita is hyperactive, and then she also verbal. It was very difficult for us to understand her. She's telling us she's not happy, but she cannot express to us clearly. So one day she said, I don't like the group home, I want to leave, I want to get out of it. And she said consistently for about maybe a month. Then we realized that we had to do something. And I had so many plans when she was 8-year-old, 10-year-old. We want to build a dormitory place so they can accommodate all these things, but we looked at the legal and so many things we didn't understand that time, financial and all these things. So we gave up on that. Finally we said, okay, we'll find a place. And where do we start? We don't know where to start. One of the things I think as especially parents, we need information. I think information is a key for us to survive. I've seen many times with other families I talk to, the information we have to get the right information because it cannot applicable to every kid. So we decided to look for things, and even we went to look for a house also ourselves. it's very difficult to explain to the landlord what to do, what not to do, how to deal with this. Because we are educating other people also. That's another thing we have to do. Even though we have a special need daughter, we have to educate other people. So we started doing that. Then finally, lucky or I don't know, angel or somebody who opened their heart. Okay, here is an opportunity for you, MIH. So a lot of things, if you look at all the organizations, we are not having any clear idea where to start. Whom shall I talk to? I think we worry about all the time, but MIH came in like an angel. Say, okay, we are here to help. Then we talked to the team here, and then they said, yeah, we can talk to you. And then, funny thing, you have to find a place. It's not like they are not going to rent a place for me. So they said, we have a lot of connections. Thank God, my pad came in. Because even though we have been dealing with the 35 years, we don't have connection with my pad. We don't have connection with this one, with that one. Because the information is what we lose all the time. So once you make the connection, it's like almost like a Christmas tree. You turn on the light comes. So another thing I could tell you, I rented places through my lifetime. Now I'm owning the place. But landlords are different type of people. But my pad landlord is not different type of people. They are one among us. They know our problems. They know our stuff. Thanks to my MIH to recommend them. And whenever I call, we call Lisa on the spot. I think we are very happy with them because when he leaves his daughter alone in a house, and somebody has to do fixing this, that, she's on the top. Anytime we call her, I say, okay, tomorrow morning it will be done. I'm glad that I met all these people. Congratulations to 5 years anniversary, and we want to celebrate 100 years anniversary from now. So thank you for all of you coming and being a part of it. I think we have to spread the word. That's one of the things we are always having a problem with. Because I mentor a lot of people and they ask me the question, what can we do? So we have to have a sort of, since we have experience, we help the people milestone. What you have to do, what you have to look for. The next step I'm going to ask is, build a house for her. So please, anybody can help us. It's not an easy problem. So, okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Do you want to get a picture here? Board Vice President Nick Burton.
Everybody, so we practiced this so that we would do it the way they were supposed to. Right, Bernie? So, good evening, everybody. For those I haven't met, my name is Nick Burton. I'm the Vice President of the Board at MIH, and I used to work with former DDA Deputy Secretary Bernie Simons. Some of you may meet at the Maryland DDA. Some of you may know me by what he used to call me, which is Nixa, and I will go by either tonight. So, I have the honor of introducing someone who hardly needs an introduction. Bernie is a legend in the IDD field. He's been around the block a time or two. This isn't his first rodeo. What always stood out to me is how far ahead of his time Bernie was. Nearly 20 years ago, he was talking about choice in affordable community-based housing for people with IDD at a time when almost no one else was. He was pushing employment opportunities in local communities well before lawsuits were requiring it. And he understood something vital, that people and families both need support to be happy, healthy, and safe. Because if families don't have what they need, neither do people with disabilities. I had the privilege of working alongside Bernie for 3 years at the DDA. And during that time, I learned a lot about what HCBS services could look like versus what they're told they have to look like. I also got to see a leader with immense compassion for people, for families, and this community. Bernie believed that government could do good for people. He believed in collaborating with the community to create lasting solutions. And that's exactly what he did with Maryland Inclusive Housing. Helping build something that outlives any one role, secretary, governor, and instead becomes part of the fabric of our community. On a personal note, Bernie's become more than just a former boss. He's become a friend and someone I choose to check in with often. Not because he signs my paychecks, but because I truly value his wisdom and his company. Bernie, thank you for your mentorship, your support, and most importantly, for creating a better world for people with disabilities. You've left a trail of innovation and stability that will carry on for years to come. So we want to give you the Founders Award here at MIH, so come on up.
Tim told me I had 20 minutes. So when I got here in 2014, we had some areas that we wanted to concentrate on, and it was like employment, supporting families, self-advocacy, self-direction, and housing. And, a lot of it around employment was, people wanted jobs, et cetera, and we had about 30 or 40 providers, work on employment first. But when it came to housing, I looked around and said, so what do we need to do? I mean, people, who are in supports and services, because our regulations in the state have not been updated since 1987, and it said provider or lease. And people would say, I'm in services, if I don't like my residential provider, then I have to move. And it's like, so where is the responsibility? If we're going to walk the talk and do it, we need to make sure that people have the opportunity for self-actualization, back to Maslow and all that stuff. It's extremely important for people to be able to do that and feel self-satisfied and internalize all those things. So I approached Kim and the Southern Regional Director at the time was Judy Paddock, and they put together a group of 20 or so providers, came up with the proposal and said, what do you think? And I said, works for me, because it's all about who's in control. And it's not government, it's not providers, it's not anybody. It's the individual and families who need to be in control of their own destiny. So with that, we gave a grant to Tim, and it didn't, it was very fortunate that the stars aligned, because he was getting ready to retire from Jubilee. And so it's like, boy, we got a job for you. How about starting this from scratch and see what we can build and what we can do? And you've done an outstanding job, and I really, really appreciate it. We see the fruits of your labor and everything that's done in the 501c3, having a great board of directors, good partnership with county housing and the state housing and community development and all that. So you guys have done an outstanding job. I just had a little bit of a vision, and you guys really implemented it and ran with it. So I really appreciate everything you've done.
I'd like to invite Pat Sylvester and Diane Dressler to join me here on the stage. kind of pretty much everything in affordable housing in Maryland. She worked for the state Department of Housing and Community Development for many years and was a leader there. She was their at MDOD, their housing policy program director, and now she serves on our Howard County Housing Committee. And no one better able to introduce our good friend Diane Dressler than Pat Sylvester. So thank you, Pat.
Thank you all. It's great to be here. It's great to see you all. And I know I'm between you and Diane and you and the bar. So, it is an unbelievable honor to me to give this award to my very good friend, Diane Dressler. It is well deserved, for sure. Now I'm going to tell you a little history, because we're going to kind of go back a little bit. Diane and I first met in 2004, Governor Ehrlich's Housing Task Force. And there was a small group, cadre. Diane wasn't alone. There were a few others. Martha A. Egan, Penny Scrivens, Kathy Raggio. They would come every week to meetings to look at how do we create better housing opportunities for people with disabilities. And they were just a marvelous people. And so that task force created something called the Bridge Subsidy Program. And I got to tell you, 20 years later, 25 years later, it's still operating. What does it do? It bridges people from when they don't have a voucher to when they do have a voucher. That's innovation. It came out of that girl's brain. And it came out of a few other people's brains. Diane's fingerprints are on more than 10 innovative housing programs that have been developed in the state of Maryland over the last 20 years. Now, it's not just her fingerprints. There's a lot of folks that made these 10 programs work, and I'm not going to go through the names. But what did they do? They created over 500 affordable housing opportunities, hard units in the state of Maryland for people with disabilities. They are affordable. If they need to be, they are accessible. And they are cross-disability. They are open, and most of them at this point in time are occupied. So to those families that we've heard from, for the folks that are working with MIH, the groundwork of having those units that people can move into, this lady gets a lot of credit. How did she do it? We've all worked on it. She was always there. She mentors, she educates, she cajoles, she pushes, but very gently. She also does the hard work behind the scenes. She drafts, she writes, she edits, she does grant proposals. These are the things that are necessary to draw down federal funds, to draw down state funds, to draw down local funds. She's amazing. But she does it with a welcoming heart. I gotta tell you, we were colleagues. I was like, hello, how are you? We're gonna work together for a little while. We're best, I wouldn't say best friends, you have too many of those. We're really, really good friends. She knows my kids, she knows my grandkids, she knows my ups and my downs and my in-betweens, and I think I know hers. Not all of them, but some. She's creative, she's innovative. She does tough, unseen work, right? But she advocates, so she does what many of us aren't good at. She can work with the grass tops and the grassroots. She remembers the people, the individuals, the young adults she helped find a home. She remembers their moms and dads, their brothers and sisters. But she also knows the leaders she needed to talk to make those things happen. And in the meantime, she would call you up and say, yeah, let's have lunch, because let's just kind of talk. And she always came with kind of an agenda, but you were having too much fun not to realize she had cajoled you into believing that this was the best and the most important thing that had to get done. And believe me, it was no accident when I left the Department of Housing and Community Development to become the Housing Policy Director at the Department of Disabilities, that she hadn't gotten into both my head and my heart. So I am extremely proud to call her friend, to call her colleague, and I want you all to know she ain't going anywhere. I am tells me you're going to keep working for MIH, yeah. And aren't we the lucky ones? So God bless us all, God bless Diane, and come get your award.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Tim. And thank you to everyone for honoring me with this achievement award tonight. It has been such a pleasure to do this work, to see the smile on the face of the person who has an opportunity to rent their own home. That is a reward above and beyond anything else that I can imagine. You know, I started in this work, oh my goodness, a long time ago. And I worked for the DDA headquarters and got into housing because somebody needed to manage and oversee this grant that would go to a developer to produce some units. So I got handed that job. And how did I know that I would be drawn into this as the best part of my work for my whole life? So I just want to thank Pat for all of her hard work and her friendship, her knowledge. You know, as she said, we're friends. Yeah, I met Pat many years ago when she was working for DHCD. She didn't really want to create housing for people with disabilities. She did. But she got convinced. And she has been a great partner ever since. So thank you for all the knowledge you've given me. And thank all of you for all of the support you have given me over the years, professionally, personally, every other kind of way you can imagine. And thank you, Tim, for giving me this opportunity to thank the world for the work that I enjoy doing and that I'll continue to do, which I really enjoy. I also want to thank my family for being here, especially my granddaughter, Tara. That's you, Tara. For being here with me. That's great. So I've got a little extra piece here because I was in a car accident in May and injured my head, lost my husband. So that was a terrible thing to happen. But I'm getting better every day, and I'll be back to being full speed in no time.
A really partner with me in creating MIH from the beginning, and I don't think either of us could have done it alone. We did it together, and I told Pat as she was preparing her remarks, I said, "This is not a retirement party. This is a lifetime honor, so we continue to expect to work with Diana. Yeah. So thank you all for coming out. Wonderful evening. The bar is open. There's still food. You're welcome to stick around. But